The California coast stretches from the border of Oregon in the north to San Diego in the south. East of the coastline, you can find all sorts of biomes, from deserts to snow-covered mountains and wild forests. The Golden State is vast, and while exploring it by car is the easiest, it can also be done without one. California contains beautiful cities, amazing national parks, and charming beaches. This place lends itself to the idea of freedom and wanderlust. What better way to do that than only relying on yourself and really exploring like a nomad? Today we'll give you some ideas of how to get around this place cheaply and completely independently. Once again, we recommend going north to south, so all directions are based on that. Cars are not sustainable, they're not good for the environment, they're financially black holes. Other drivers make us angry. And don't get me started on traffic, especially in the big cities. Cramped cars and keeping an eye on the road is not conducive to an incredible exploration adventure, is it? But they get us from A to B in a few hours, so renting one is an absolute priority. Correct? Incorrect. There are other ways to get around. They are a little crazy and only involve some effort, but the end product will be memories you will have for a lifetime. Imagine the stories you would be able to tell about the months that you slept in your tent underneath the Californian sky, or when you spent a week walking beside the beaches and cliffs. Imagine traveling without pressure to learn rules of the road or fears of busting up a rented car. Without a car, no matter what you're doing, a good thing by choosing a green, efficient way of travel. You'll be forced outdoors and to be more creative. Long periods of time, hiking, biking, or traveling by yourself will give you incredible peace of mind. You might even meet some like-minded people who may become friends for life. Think outside the box and don't rent the car. Planning. First of all travel needs to be planned. A Californian summer sounds incredible. Figure out what your goals are first of all. Do you want to go city to city, north to south? Do you want to just land at LAX and take it from there? Are you traveling alone or with a group? Once you figure out what you want to do, one of these methods of travel should suit better than renting a car: hitchhiking or wandering. Hitching may have a bad reputation, but it is legal in California, and California is one of those places where it just works. Many have done it and have some incredible stories. Not to mention making some incredible friends. What a story to tell about walking along the coast of California. Hitching and walking from place to place requires planning, and a plan B for sure, but it's an incredible way to see a place. A fail-safe plan means some money in your pocket and a full cell battery. But if you have these and a good pair of walking shoes, get going. Wander. Meeting good people will happen in the cities you stay at. Word of mouth or social media can help you here, but we would recommend having parts of your journey planned out slightly. Maybe a friend of a friend can drive you an hour south to the small town. If you're okay to walk 10 miles in a day to the next town, you're going to see so much of the land and you'll have time to take it all in. Stop and relax. Have a picnic and take photos in places that nobody has really been to before. You can walk by the main roads or take the lesser-known country and breathe the fresh air, which is free. If you're traveling from north to south, imagine walking some of the best beaches in the world and being blasted by the Pacific air. It's a method for the fit and healthy, but for those who really want a West Coast adventure, again, the internet is your best friend here, as you can just book an Airbnb in the next town. This is a popular way of getting around in countries like Spain and parts of Asia. Why not California? Biking. Biking includes the same basics as hitchhiking, walking, or wandering, but you'll be able to get to places far quicker. Keep in mind your online resources. Hear me out. Biking around a part of a country can be an incredible experience. It may take some time and few dollars to get comfortable on a bike, but once you get going, what an incredible experience. If your goal is to see lots of the state cheaply and in a quick time period, rent or buy a decent bike and get cycling. An amateur could easily get 30 miles at least in a day and have lots of time to eat, relax, and take photos. That 30 miles can be the difference between one town to the next. Use the internet to track and plan where you're going to go. Figure out how many miles you can do in a day and get going. You may even meet like-minded travelers or enthusiastic cyclists who will help you out. Many bikes are built for these kinds of trips, and if you can pack your belongings and a tent into one backpack, you have the potential for an amazing cheap trip. You'll feel great working out while being sustainable and independent. Just like the hitchhiking, camp out in areas, or grab an Airbnb. Grab a bike, a map, and a helmet and get pedaling. The Tour de California. Plus, with sore legs after a few days cycling, you'll have a perfect excuse for a rest day by a vineyard or in a big city. Bus or train. Traveling the state by bus and train is very efficient. It takes the pressure off traveling with maps and figuring out routes off you, and you still get to see a huge amount. There's something artistic about traveling by train. You travel the same way people did hundreds of years ago. It's traditional and gives a good feeling. If you are too stark in San Francisco, an Amtrak train will take you all the way down the coast to San Diego in a relatively short time. You can get off in different cities, enjoy them, and get back on the train. A rite of passage for many Europeans is Eurorailing, where students and gap year travel enthusiasts travel from country to country with incredible ease and freedom. If the Europeans can do it, Californians definitely can. There are many different styles of trips you can complete. The big cities have metro lines that run around them and to suburbs. The north of the state has its own Caltrain service. Napa Valley even has a wine train where you can taste some of the best vintages and food around. The south of the state has the Pacific Surfliner, where you ride by the coast all day long. A train or bus pass can take you from San Francisco in the Yosemite and the Sierra National Forest. From Los Angeles, you can get to Death Valley via train and bus. If you would want to, it's a great way to travel not only the big cities and coastline, but some of the other fascinating areas as well. Choose your destinations, book tickets, and do your thing. You can take trains from state to state, so your carless adventure never has to end. The great thing about traveling via train is the comfort. You'll have Wi-Fi and a seat to sleep in for long journeys. Food and drink will be at your waiting call, and your baggage isn't really an issue. As we stress, once you plan out your travel, it's easy. Van or minibus. In my opinion, there's no greater image of Southern California traveling than one of a group of surfers getting out of a VW van on the beach, ready to hit the water. This is not some ancient 1960s idea. It's still possible to rent out a van and a driver and plan your holiday. Granted, this one does mean someone has to drive, and it's probably a solution more for a group than an individual. But a private party tour is definitely an option for those who cannot drive or those who simply don't want to. Many companies exist that will pick you up from the airport and bring you to pre-planned destinations. Heading south, there are amazing highways built for incredible driving the state. Once again, it's all the rage in Asia for backpackers to quickly see the sights of a country before moving on. Alternatively, do it yourself. The group dynamic makes these things much cheaper, safer, and more fun. The van stores all your baggage and you can even sleep in it. If you want to go all out, you can find incredible vans that are fully livable and have cooking products. Sounds like a wild nomad adventure. Save money for a 5-star hotel stay at the end of your trip. Air and sea. Of course, you can plan out domestic flights from city to city, but this isn't recommended. It's not good for the environment and you miss out on actual traveling. It's fine if you want to fly from San Francisco to San Diego and visit the north and south, but you might as well save money and choose one of the other options. If you love the sea, keep a boat or kayaks in mind. Easy, fun ways to see different parts of the state. I hope you've got some ideas from this video. Maybe a mix of all 5 is the recipe for a perfect trip. Who knows? What I do know is that it's possible to get around the state without a car. I'd even bet it's more fun.